Hello again, Achieve Virtual Education Academy teachers. We're back to the video recordings. I know some of you have expressed interest in actually listening to these as preferring to read. You can kind of play them along while you do other things perhaps. Hopefully it's not just because of my stellar voice and commentary on each slide, but I try to make it as entertaining as I possibly can, even though some of the things we just got to get information out. So with that, full week number two is down, so we are now kind of into that full swing of the school year. Hopefully you're settling into norms in your traditional settings as well as common routine for your Achieve Virtual students. I know not all of you have kids, but they are still coming, and we'll be taking them for almost what equates to another 5 weeks or so. So stay tuned, more coming, and the part-timers are really just getting started. So as mentioned, we are up and running. It's kind of that time of year where all Indiana schools are kind of back in session, at least our traditional ones outside of maybe some of the charters and other schools that may be much smaller, those kinds of things. But for the most part, everyone's back, and we've seen the uptick in enrollments and enrollment requests because of that. So again, if you don't have kids, stay tuned. They're coming. Certainly make sure your classes are ready to go. Make sure they're set up. If you don't have kids, you don't have a shell to dump into yet, so look at your template, make sure it's clean and that the links are working, those kinds of things. That shouldn't take you very long, but it is a little bit frustrating if a kid gets in and the first assignment, the link's broken. So make sure everything's working, set up, and then if you have kids, make sure you have the grade book set up in the hub so students can access that to monitor their grades and follow along. Call, text, email, bottom line, engage your student. Obviously, the beginning of the year, engagement, that feedback, communication piece, it's often, it looks a little different, but it really doesn't do any different from traditional versus the full online student. So now's that time to really reach out to your families, make the extra time to do it. It will pay dividends for at least, a handful of your students down the road, knowing you care enough to help them get started so they can effectively start getting through your classes. It also helps relieve some of the login issues, which is a slide coming up here as well. So if you don't feel like you can meet the communication expectations, then certainly have a conversation with me. I don't want somebody that can't do the job working with the kids, because we are their only school, and you're their primary contact for that class. So we don't want to set kids up for failure, and I don't want to set you up for failure. So if you don't think you can meet our expectations of communication consistently, please get with me. Student registries, I wanted to give you some background on how the new registration system works, and it is very similar. It's just in new programs, and so some of it takes a little bit of time. But from start into your classes, I kind of wanted to walk you through the process of what the kids go through. So they go to our website at achievevirtual.org and they create an application, and on that application they can choose part-time versus full-time. Full-time, they just kind of finish up the application. For a part-time, it does, like the summer school application, allow them to select the course or courses up to 2 that they want to take. If they want more and they're willing to pay for more, the counselors can work that out directly with our office, but the application allows 2. Those come through via email. The way the website company sends those to us is in an email, so we've created a new email inbox that Amanda Crosby, my secretary, and I have access to. It's the achieve.registration@wayne.k12.in.us. So all those come in with the subject line of new application and the student's name. So we open those and call the student or the family to verify what they're looking to do. Once confirmed, either way, we enter them into Skyward, and either Amanda, myself for part-time students, or Claudia for our Achieve full-time students enter them into their classes. Now when that happens, an automated email is going out to these students with whatever email address they entered on their application for the student. Parents will not receive this unless it is the parent email entered for the student. And so as you can see, it's a lengthy email. You do have access to it. It is in Google, or it's in my Google Drive, so you can link to it. But it would have the student's ID number here, and the student, I don't know if it actually includes a student username or not, but going through this process, the student username does pop up. But what this does is open up the Rapid Identity, claim your account, instructions step by step. So it's multiple slides. It does remind them you have to finish the process. Don't stop the process. If you do, it does mess it up. So again, you have access to, this is the email that goes out, has the 2 links. This then takes them to the hub where they can log in once they've set up their account and all that fun stuff to get started in their classes. Again, it is in this presentation that I've shared, so you can click to it, get to it. You can view the student's user ID should you need to. I know for some of you in summer school you were doing that, so again I wanted to give access to it for this fall semester. So once placed into Skyward, that automated email goes out of Skyward, and so as it's summer school, there are some issues with the login. Now, so far, I've only heard of 3 students. There will be more, I'm sure. Because it is a lengthy process, they kind of try to hurry, don't read all the instructions, and sometimes there legitimately is an issue for whatever reason. So kind of the issues we've seen is they enter their user ID and name, and it pops up account failed. Well, if they've never been in the system before, that could be a legit issue that our IT has to fix or reset their account. Others, they enter their user ID, start the process, and they hit back or they hit the closeout button during the process. Again, if they start this process, they must finish it for it to work. Otherwise, the only fix is for our IT to fix or reset. And so you can send those to me. I send those to Doris Roberts, who is who is our operations and is our technical IT person for Achieve. If they've ever claimed their account before, they did summer classes this past summer or beyond, and have done classes in our new setup, they don't need to claim again, and it won't let them claim again. So they just need to log in, and if they can't because they forget, they need to do the forgot password protocol, which is one of the options when they get to the hub access. Some may tell you they didn't receive the email, and maybe they didn't for legitimate reasons. Wrong email address. Email was put in as parent, so the parent got it, didn't pass on the information. Early on, the automation wasn't working. That has been working since late last week. And so any students placed this past week should be fine, but the first couple students, Claudia and I were manually sending. We could have missed some accidentally. So feel free, they can contact us, obviously some are doing that, or feel free to send the message yourself if you got them on the phone and you just want to knock it out right there with them. So you have that, so FYI. Another survey for me. Sorry, but through Indiana State and the Indiana Principal Leadership Institute, we're collecting more data for us to continue to grow and get better and improve our school. It's kind of the idea of the Action Research Project. Year 1 was about improving myself. Year 2, I'm working with 2 of my BD/ED teachers, and we're looking at improvements for Achieve and/or Ben Davis Extended Day programming, depending on how we can best mold that. So the more information I get, the better. The newest surveys is on the SurveyMonkey link. Shouldn't take any more than 5 to 10 minutes to complete. I know it's time, and time is precious, but I do appreciate it, so we can continue to work towards improving who and what we are. So again, thank you. Parents and counselors from other schools, just so you know, as we enter kids, if they are a part-time student this year, we are adding their counselor into the Skyward system as a guardian. So when you're looking at contacts and you start seeing the same name over and like, man, this guy's related or this woman's related to everybody. Gwen Bragg is one from Madison Grant High School that you'll see a lot. They've already got like 20-25 students in there. She is set up as their guardian. That way when she logs into Skyward, she can monitor their progress just like a guardian can. So Skyward is not quite synced to the gradebook. I mentioned that down here in the bottom paragraph, but it is coming this fall. I was going to put October, but we're really hopeful by September the sync between gradebooks is working, and that way when guardians and or these counselors log into Skyward, they can kind of monitor their students' progress that way, as well as other things that you would expect to find in a student database system. Parents can also have access to the It's Learning Hub, but we haven't really sent out instructions on how to do that yet. So right now we're holding them at the Skyward spot. So just FYI, you're going to see some counselors that you didn't see in Genius. You'll have access to their numbers and their emails. I certainly don't mind an email if the kid's not working, but let the phone calls come from our office if you would. Filling teachers. We had our first fill up this week, so the kids are coming. Keep it up. Be aware. Monitor your numbers. You're not getting an email notification like you did in Genius, so continue to watch Skyward and get into your classes and look at your grade books for your numbers. Because of the Genius kind of was set up where once we put a teacher cap, once they reached that cap, they were full, and that was it. That is not the case. So every Friday, Amanda and I, we're kind of looking at teacher numbers. If you get to a point where you're like, whoa, 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 it's between weeks, it's a Wednesday or Thursday, we haven't met in almost a week, and all of a sudden you're at 45 kids and you only wanted 30, you need to let us know ASAP. So again, we have a process in place where we're kind of monitoring and checking, but you got 3 different people entering kids, and it could get away from us, within a week's time. So please, please, please stay up on your numbers if you are really concerned about getting too many kids online with us. Professional development, don't forget, Michelle sent an email out or a notification this week, especially if you missed this summer academy. We are doing it differently. We're getting away from the monthly meetings, and it's more of a spot check meetings with Michelle or myself as you progress through the various PGP menu of items that you can participate in or complete over the course of this year. Certainly see us for details, but again, if you missed the academy, you probably have no idea what we're talking about, but she did send information out this week. I believe it was Wednesday this week, so make sure you're paying attention to our notifications. Back to school night. The last couple of years, I've done back to school. I've done a back to school night every year. The first couple we tried to do in person, and attendance was so low. We started doing the webinars just because I felt like I was bringing teachers in, and 4 families would show up. So what we're doing now is webinars. And last year, when I did one in August, it was the most well attended I'd ever had. So I again want to push one for August. By September, the ones who are in, they've started, and the late ones tend to be the less motivated of the bunch. And so I am looking at Thursday, August 25th. I'll start advertising that to families starting next week. Probably start at 6:30, kind of that in-between time of Eastern Standard Time versus Central Standard Time, to hit as much as we can between work schedules, but not so late that we're missing those with little kids and that kind of thing. So just be aware, feel free to join me. Again, I'll be advertising this up until the day. It'll just be an online webinar, but you can chime in, help me answer questions, or if I say something incorrectly, you can chime in, obviously. Miss Goodnight usually joins. It's not an expectation for her or you, but certainly appreciate the backup and help if questions come up. Enjoy your rainy weekend. I've heard it's supposed to be rainy, potential thunderstorms. We need the rain, so I'm not complaining, and it gives me, after last weekend working in the yard all week, both days, moving landscaping rock, it certainly gives me the excuse to tell Amy that I can't do yard work this weekend. So anyways, I feel like despite all the changes and some of the things that have made us less efficient in the office, we've really honestly gotten off to a pretty good start. I feel good about it. Claudia's ravaging through student enrollments and getting full-time students placed. The part-timers are kind of trickling in, but I and Amanda have been able to keep up on those while Amanda's finishing up transcripts of summer school students and grades and all that other fun stuff while monitoring BDED. So despite everything, I think we've kept up efficiently wise, and we're doing a good job here in the office. And just keep making us look good on your end out in the trenches with the kids, and keep us aware of students who over the next couple weeks are non-responsive and aren't working and kind of go missing on us. Have a great weekend. We're in full swing again. I'm glad we're back. I'm excited. We got a couple new staff members helping us in areas of need. So thank you, and see you next week.